The door was barred, locked, and bolted as well. The door was barred, locked, and bolted as well. The square wooden crate was packed to be shipped. The square wooden crate was packed to be shipped. In this video, we are going to be sound treating my home office with these acoustic panels and transforming my home office into my home studio. All right, let's get into it. So not only are we going to be installing these panels, but we're also going to be doing some before and after tests to see if you can tell the difference on how the room sounds after it's been acoustically treated. And if this is our first time meeting, I'm Ray Valencia from Starstrung Productions. I actually work in television production full time, and that's actually also how I found out about these particular panels. I worked with a sound engineer and we designed a podcast room using these particular ADW panels. And based off their performance and his recommendations, of course, I ended up with my very own kit here. So I'll leave links to everything in the description below if you're interested, but let's go ahead and jump into getting these babies put up. All right, let's go. These panels are made by an American company in Wisconsin called Acoustic Design Works. They just specifically design acoustic panels like this for professional use. They are made of this high quality fabric over a fiberglass core here. The fiberglass is really the secret, but there are different materials and different thicknesses that they make these in. So I have the 1-inch version, but you can also get the 2-inch version that are even more sound absorbent than these. They make these panels in all different kinds of shapes and colors. I have the rectangles. I have the 2-foot by 4-foot rectangles, as well as the 2-foot by 2-foot squares. You can actually get it in a kit. They have a kit called the Mondrian kit. It comes with 4 panels. It is $220. These panels range between $40 and roughly $70 to $90, depending on how thick of panels you get and what size they are. All right, so let's go over everything you need to get these sound panels installed, and then we'll get into actually doing that. A level is super helpful if you want to make sure they're all aligned and level and everything looks perfect and flush. It actually comes with these impaling clamps here, and the way these work is just like that. So you will need to get your own screws depending on what kind of surface you're going to be attaching them to. If you have concrete, get concrete screws. If you have wood walls, you're going to need wood screws. I have drywall, so I have drywall screws. So the way these impaling clips work, if this is your wall, then you're going to screw into the wall, and then your acoustic panel will actually just press right into it like that, and that's how they stay on the wall. They're also super easy to remove. As you can see, I already have some up here because I was testing out some different layouts and different color schemes, how it was gonna look. But you're also gonna need a drill or a hammer to get these impaling clips into the wall. And a tape measure is super helpful too. I guess it's not 100% necessary, but if you want everything to line up and look perfect, a tape measure and maybe a pencil just to mark things out. So they do recommend you cover at least 15 to 20% of your surfaces, but you can also subtract for things like doors, windows, closets, desks, and just really focus on the areas that are exposed. So like for this particular wall, this is my main broad open wall, and it is drywall, so it's super reflective, and it is 9 feet tall by 11 feet wide. So I want to cover roughly 15%, and we'll say roughly 15 feet squared, 15 square feet that we want to cover. So I think I figured out my design, how I want to lay them out, and let's go. So I have mine at roughly 63 inches, and I'm gonna have the top of my sound panels actually at 65 inches. So to get these in, all you have to do is, maybe you can drill a pilot hole if you want, but all you gotta do is drive these in. So you might ask, why spend over $200 or whatever on sound panels like this? Well, number one is because of quality. These panels are rated at a minimum of NRC 0.85, which means these babies absorb 85% of unwanted and undesirable sounds, such as echo and reverb. That's exactly what we're trying to get rid of in here. So what is NRC? Well, I'm glad you asked. NRC is the noise reduction coefficient. So basically, if it's rated at a 0.85, like these panels, it absorbs 85% of unwanted sounds like reverb and echo, and 15% will be reflected back. The drywall here has an NRC rating of 0.15, which means it reflects back 85% reverb and unwanted sounds. So if you're considering getting the foam panels on like Amazon that are like the little 1-inch foam panels, those have an NRC rating of 0.4, which means they still reflect back 60% of reverb and echo. So just one thing to consider whenever you're considering quality of the sound panels that you get or make at home. Okay, so at this point I have my impaling spikes up. I'm gonna put my level on top of the panel here. And I have the tape measure there measuring 2 inches above. So let me just make sure I'm in the right spot here. Right there is level. And we push them in, and that's it. All right, that looks level. And I like to impale one side and then use it to kind of tilt on here and find my bubble. Oops. And then impale it. Bam! Push that in there real good. All right, so the second reason I got these panels is for aesthetics. They offer over 75 colors. They look really nice. They have them in a ton of shapes. You can get them in trapezoids, triangles, hexagons, rectangles, squares, and different thicknesses as well. You can get them in 1-inch or 2-inch thicknesses, but let's go ahead and continue this. Whew, I'm sweating. And lastly, I've used these panels before, and we used them in a podcast room, and they worked out great. So I decided to get my own. I'm like half an inch off. All right, wall number 1 is complete, and now we can move on to wall number 2. The good thing is these don't have to be super accurate because they kind of turn a little bit as you're adjusting and trying to level out. So you can always just pull it back out, readjust if you happen to mess up. There we go. So again, that's how quick I measured, and I'm gonna put these right up because they don't have to be extremely accurate. You can always twist them and turn them, and there we go. You can always twist them and turn them and adjust them, and also they don't have to be super accurate just because they are stabbing into right here and right here on the panel, so they just go right on, easy. And seeing as how I have one last panel, I'm gonna stick one up here. I do have 2 vents up here that make a lot of noise, but we'll stick a panel up here and see if that helps with some of the reverb up here as well. Got it. Oh yeah. All right, so the panels are up on all 3 walls, and now we can do our before and after test and compare how the room sounds with the panels installed. So if you gained any value from this video, hit the like button, leave me a comment if you have questions about anything. But without further ado, let's jump into the before and after tests. The Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, that is 3 feet away from me. It's 3 feet away. I didn't write these sentences. These are called Harvard sentences. They're used for doing speech recognition and voice recognition software. So let's go ahead and do the test now. The little tales they tell are false. The little tales they tell are false. The door was barred, locked, and bolted as well. The door was barred, locked, and bolted as well. The pleasant hours fly by much too soon. The pleasant hours fly by much too soon. Okay, so this is kind of another typical YouTube setup. Let's say I'm doing like a tutorial on Adobe Premiere or something like that. And I generally talk into this vicinity, this direction here as I'm going through the computer, 2.5 feet away. The pleasant hours fly by much too soon. The pleasant hours fly by much too soon. The room was crowded with a wild mob. The room was crowded with a wild mob. The kite dipped and swayed but stayed aloft. The kite dipped and swayed but stayed aloft. Draw the chart with heavy black lines. Draw the chart with heavy black lines. And lastly, I wanted to create a test where I speak directly into the drywall at an angle that should reflect directly back at the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, directly over the camera about 2 feet away. The square wooden crate was packed to be shipped. The square wooden crate was packed to be shipped. Draw the chart with heavy black lines. Draw the chart with heavy black lines. The door was barred, locked, and bolted as well. The door was barred, locked, and bolted as well. The pleasant hours fly by much too soon. The pleasant hours fly by much too soon. The room was crowded with a wild mob. The room was crowded with a wild mob. So for those of you that stuck around through the before and after test, let me know in the comments below what you think about the sound quality of this room now. And also let me know down there if you guys have sound panels up in your home office or studio, or you plan to do so soon. Hit the like button if you gained any value from this video, shoot for the stars, and I will see you very soon in the next video.